All right, what's up? In this video, we're going to take a look at the BlitzPick Mobile Multi-Lineup Optimizer. Head into the BlitzPick app, you hit the green plus and select Multi-Lineup. The first slider you see is very important. This is the ceiling for a percent a player can show up in your lineup unless you manually adjust somebody. So right now, at 30%, this means no player can show up more than 30%. Head into the add new player section. As you can see, they all have the range of 0 to 30%. If you want, you can move somebody up specifically to a different number and all the other players will stay at 30%, but any manual change you make will overrule this global slider. So if you want to stack a team, you might want to move the players on that team up and keep the global slider a little lower so you get a better mix of other players filling in around the stack. However, this is only a 5-game slate we're looking at, so we're just going to make everybody 100%. Now you see Verlander stays at 70% because I manually adjusted him, so I'm going to swipe him off. Now he's back to 100% with everybody else. And I just want to see what kind of mix they're going to give me right now. I'm not going to put any filters or stacks on. Just go in, let's optimize 150 lineups. You can pick any amount you want. And I see, obviously, Mookie Betts is an app favorite, Jonathan Lucroy, and Ryan Braun. You can sort by position. So looking at these pitchers, again, it's only a 5-game slate, and it's DraftKings where you need 2 pitchers. So I'm getting a pretty good mix. I'm actually happy with these percentages. Might like a little more Maeda over here. So let's put his floor up to 20%. You can always edit players within the screen after optimizing. And you can kind of go by each position and get a feel for which teams are showing up. I'm seeing a lot of Texas and Boston and Milwaukee. So along with Arizona. So what I'm going to do is head back here. I'm clicking edit. Let's add some stacks. I really like stacking in tournaments. There's a lot of correlation amongst hitters on the same team. So I think if you're going to play tournaments, especially multi-lineups in tournaments, you want to add stacks. So let's do 2 game stacks to start. We're going to go with the Rangers. Let's go 3 to 5 players on the Rangers and 3 to 5 players on the Red Sox. And I'm going to do this in 40% of my lineups because they were showing up a lot in the projections, a lot in the lineups. Let's make sure that they're on the same teams together. If the game really goes over the total, it could be a great spot. And I saw a lot of Diamondbacks and Brewers. So this time, let's do 4 and 4. I want to make sure that I get, actually no, we're going back to 3 and 5. I like that better because it gives you a better mix. We'll do 40% here also, and then I'm going to do just 1 stack of any team, and this is a move based on the Mets scratched DeGrom and put in Rafael Montero, and DraftKings always prices their players based on who the pitcher is, so the Padres are underpriced. So let's do a full 5-man Padres stack. We'll fill in the last 20% of lineups. And I see my stacks here. Now, just so you know, if you go over 100% here, we will filter it down. So if you end up with 200% of stacks, it's going to be reduced to 100%. So in this case, the Rangers and Red Sox would only show up in 20% of lineups if I had 200% of stacks. However, if you only do 60% of stacks, the other 40% of lineups will remain unstacked. All right, now let's head over to groups. Okay, I may not want a pitcher going against another pitcher, so let's look for Michael Wacha and Kenta Maeda, who are pitching against each other. And what I'm going to do here is just say, okay, I want at most 1 player out of this group in any lineup. And you could do it at least if you want to make sure somebody's on there. This is a really cool feature, groups. Feel free to play around with it. However, I actually don't mind having pitchers going against each other on a 5-game slate. So I'm not going to keep this group. I just want to show you how it's done. And we got our stacks in. We have some players' percentages selected where we want them. I know Kenta Maeda, we boosted him up a little bit to make sure he shows up at least 20%. Now we head in, and he's right there at 20%. I still have a nice mix of pitchers. Nobody is going crazy, and I don't mind using pitchers going against each other. The win is just not that important anymore. Not as important, and especially with only 5 games. So what I'm going to do here is I can just look through my lineups and notice that Goldschmidt, Lucroy, VR, Odor, a lot of the star players are showing up in a lot of lineups, and I'm pretty happy with this mix. And again, if you don't want a lot of Braun, or if you want more, if you wanted 50% Braun, you can edit that slider. And if you didn't want that much Peralta, you can move him down. So this is a really convenient way. It's an iterative process where you can keep looking at the lineups you're getting and make sure you're getting the right mix of players. And feel free to hit this lineups button over here, and you're going to get the lineup sorted by projected points. You can filter this, but it's really the only reasonable way to do it. The salary spent, who cares? And the actual points is useful for the completed slates because we score the lineups after they're competed. And so say Margot, you don't want a questionable guy in your lineup. You can go into the lineup and you can just get rid of him and add somebody else. Obviously, you can't really afford a whole lot here. So, well, that didn't work. So we're putting him back in, but you get the idea. And you might want to do it on a lineup with more cap. But if I don't want Robbie Ray, whatever, you can always edit these individually and it'll save. And all you do is export at the top right button, and you can export to FanDuel or DraftKings. It is in CSV format. We can't push them directly to their app yet. Hopefully we'll be able to soon. And if you have any questions for us, hit us up on Twitter at BlitzPick. Happy to answer, and good luck. It's a really cool format to use all these multi-lineups. And we have arcade mode coming out later this week, which will also function with the multi-lineup. So it should be pretty cool, and good luck in all of your contests.